An amateur witch, a dark past, a fierce deceit. Paladin agent Alice Skye didn't think much of the contract forced upon her by Rexley Wild, alpha of one of the largest packs in Europe. He hired her for one job: find the missing wolf. Unfortunately for Alice, she might already be too late. She's in way over her head, an inexperienced witch who has to use all her instincts to help the secretive and detached alpha find his missing packmate. But it isn't long before she realizes something's not quite right. It's not simply a missing person, it was something a lot closer to home, something that reignites nightmares that make her question her own horrific past. Alice is in a race against time that forces her to face against vampires, demons, and anything that gets in the way, for she only has one thing to do: find the wolf before he turns up like the others. Dead. Unexpected twists, dark secrets, and nail-biting action that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Alice Skye is the exciting brand new urban fantasy series by Taylor Aston White. Follow Alice as she battles her nightmares in the modern world of magic. Witch's Sorrow is a super interesting urban fantasy mixed with sort of, your murder mystery type investigative style thing, which often comes with some urban fantasies. It was really interesting. There's a lot going on. A lot of times in books such as these, you have a fairly small cast, you have a fairly straightforward someone is dead and supernatural things are involved, or someone is missing and supernatural things are involved. And then you have your, not quite hard-boiled detective type, but certainly trouble-causing magical detective type. And this has most of that. However, the mystery is not really all that straightforward. There's a lot going on there, and it's very interesting. Yeah, I won't unpack the mystery because there are spoilers involved, but I will say that there are a bunch of different elements that go into it that you don't see at the very beginning or even in the middle, and I think that's a very fascinating idea. Because sometimes if you don't do that right, then you get the solution to the mystery coming out of nowhere, and that is problematic. However, this story doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes from a very intentional direction, and I like it. But it also is very frustrating because I had no idea what was going on half the time. But I like it. There's so much. I'm a mystery buff. It's very... Anyways, moving on. The characters themselves, the cast was fairly wide, which was very interesting considering that a lot of times you usually start out small, and then as the series progresses and you assume that readers have read previous books, the cast grows larger. This book had a fairly large cast from the beginning, which was also interesting because it sort of more accurately reflects life and times of the main character. It shows the people she interacts with, it shows her relationship with the people, it shows how her character shines through, and I found that a very good tool for the development of the character and the progression of the story, because the cast was involved in causing some of those very problematic things with the mystery. And I can't tell you more than that because spoilers. Anyways, I liked the characters. I think there were a couple of them that I would have liked to see more development on. Sam, Alice Skye's roommate, was one of those. He had certain protective instincts, but they weren't really unpacked as much as I would have liked. I can't really talk about other characters because that's also problematic. There were, spoilers. Goodness. There was a mysterious figure who showed up as a sort of magical person connected to her past that I found very interesting, but would have also liked more information about. He was a little too mysterious given the fact that we were already solving one mystery, and he kind of came out of, well, not nowhere. You can't, this guy definitely doesn't come out of nowhere, but he comes out of a place that we haven't explored yet in this story, and I think that was probably the bit that was just a little problematic. And the other part that was slightly problematic was her relationship with the alpha that hired her. I think that could have been explored in a manner that made it less sort of separate from the initial mystery. I mean, it was definitely involved, but it felt a little separate until such point as this mysterious figure emerged. I'm probably not explaining this very well, but it does make sense when you actually read the story. Overall, I found this book very interesting. There's a lot going on. I think it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely not your typical urban fantasy mystery type, because the mystery played more of a role than otherwise, and it was very interesting. I liked the lore, the world building was fun. I mean, you know, anytime you're gonna hang out in London with magical creatures, it's pretty much a good time, because there's tea involved and magic. Anyways, I liked the story a lot. I think it was very interesting. I would say one thing about the prose is that semicolons are your friend and commas are not. It's not really a huge thing unless you're super into grammar and language like I happen to be, and honestly I didn't even notice it unless I was paying attention, which when I review books I tend to pay attention, so it's not a huge issue, but semicolons are a thing. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I definitely recommend this book. It's really interesting. I enjoyed it quite a lot. So that's pretty much all I've got for you today. As you might have noticed, there's a new book on my shelf, which is super exciting. This is The One Who Could Not Fly, my fantasy adventure novel. It came out on came out on March 31st, not April 1st, because I can do dates. If you're interested in that, go give it a look. The link is in the description box below, as are the links to Taylor Aston White's books and all of her social media pages. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I hope the weather is turning into nice sunny days that you can actually, you know, go outside instead of being home in the midst of, you know, quarantine. So, yeah. Have a good one. And if you're looking for something to read, give Witch's Sorrow a try. Otherwise, I shall see you next time. Bye.